Hi, this is John, in Janus Service Department and Deliveries. I've had a few opportunities to strap down bikes in the last couple years when I've been doing deliveries across the country. And today we're going to go over that a little bit, at least some of the things I've learned or how I like doing it. Granted, I haven't tried out all the situations that you may be using to haul your bikes. Most of what I've been doing is either in the van, the Janus van, or in the Janus trailer, which is what we're standing in now. So I'm going to show you how I would do it in here, and maybe you can pick up a few pointers from that, and always welcome feedback if you have questions or ways I can improve what I'm doing. So we've got one of our shop demo bikes here. Now anytime we're loading bikes up for delivery, we're using these wheel chocks. We have the same ones in the van. These are actually pretty nice. They're removable. I can show you one. Just has some tabs, and we mount the holders down to the floor, and these tabs then slide in there and slide forward. They're very secure, they're strong, and we can get them out of the way when we need to. These are Pit Posse Motorsports. And the other thing, if we want to do another sales plug, the other thing that we use are, we had some issues with some straps, so we got Janus tie-down straps. Perfect for the job because they're good. I love them. So we've got it up against the wheel chock. The main thing is getting it tied down in front. Most of the bikes that we deliver, and most of yours probably out in the field, don't have the eyelets here for the tie down. So I'm going to show you first what I do without those. We just go around the handlebars. The stock handlebars are a polished stainless steel, which is pretty hard and resistant to scratches. This handlebar happens to be painted, and if you have a painted one, you need to be a little more careful with it. And if this was a regular polished stainless steel, I would feel okay about just putting the hook around the handlebar, and that's the way I've done a lot of them. I'm strapping it down. Because it's painted, it's better not to do that. The Janus straps actually have a loop on the end, which lets you loop that around there and make sure you get all the cables and everything out of the way. And then the strap itself just hooks onto there. So you've got a good sturdy connection. If you don't have if your straps aren't designed like this with a loop on the end, just wrap the whole strap around and bring up both ends down to a tie down or something. Or if you have some microfiber towels or something you have around there, just don't put the hook, the metal, directly on the painted surface. So that's how I do it if we don't have the eyelets. But I'm going to show you with the eyelets. You can just hook this directly in here. And then tie it down. Let me get the one on the other side. I'm going to do it the same way. Just put it in that eyelet. I'm going to put up the kickstand so we don't accidentally put too much, crank it down against that and put too much force. We've had, I've heard stories at least about those breaking off if you get too much force on it. Then you can just alternately tighten these down a little bit. try to keep it fairly straight. And one thing you don't want to do, I think if you tighten them down all the way, you can almost get the number plate up against that. You don't want to do that, so I leave a little space in between there. You see, there's still a little bit of side-to-side movement. This is going to keep it from going with the wheel chock. It's going to keep the front wheel in place. It's not going to go back at all. But there's still side-to-side movement, you'll see. So then we also secure the back end of it. I like having them coming back. Let's see if these straps, I think these are long enough. You notice on the front I used a ratcheting strap. On the rear, I generally like to use one of these cam lock ones because we don't need to tie it, to pull it down so much. But this is a good way to get it up good and snug. They're a little easier to work with. And this also, it's a cam lock, but also the Janus brand. I'll wrap that. Actually, I'm going to do that around this one. It's around a painted surface, so I don't want to put the hook directly on that. I'm using the loop that's provided in the strap on this one, or something else. If you have just have some kind of a cloth to wrap around there, that'd be fine. Secure the other end of it. Pull that up a little bit snug. Do the same thing on the other side. And really, this is pretty extreme in terms of having it back. The only tie downs we have on the side here are right here. I don't really want to pull forward with the back straps. I could have positioned them like here on the book rack, or even on the frame up here somewhere. You have lots of options for fastening the back of it, more so than you do on the front. It doesn't need to be pulling backward a whole lot. The main thing that we're looking for is to stop the side from side movement with the back straps. Because the wheel chock itself is going to keep it from going forward at all. So you don't need anything necessarily pulling back. Primarily looking for side to side. But this works fine. Having it farther up would also work fine. And I have, when I get a bunch of bikes in here, you have fewer places that you available for attachment. And yeah, I've used it up here before. Maybe on this side I'll even do it in a different place. Let's see. It's coming down against the support there. It's got a good strong place to be against the frame. Hook that into the tie down. And then I just pull the bike a little bit at the same time I'm tightening this. And you can see it doesn't take a whole lot. And even though these are in different places, it's rigid. It's not going anywhere. We used to have quite a bit of side movement up there. It's not a little bit of wiggle, and that's about all it's going to do. I like that better than the one going way back there for this situation. If you're putting it in the back of the pickup, the main things I would be concerned about is having some kind of support for the front wheel, so it's not moving around. And then just places to tie it down. And it's best if these front ones, if you're going down, so when you tighten them, you're pulling against the springs, you're compressing the springs, because that keeps these tight. And with the rear, what I found, I had tried doing some originally where I was just like tying it to the bottom of the rear wheel just to keep the bike from going side to side. But I did have, well, before we had these straps, these also have a nice lock, so they're not going to come out of here. On some of my early trips, before we had these, the loop was just open, and I had situations where I think was when I was going around a corner. So the bike was, there was force bringing the bike over one way, and then you hit a bump or something, and it would jerk it enough that I think down below I'd had those loops come loose from the floor mounts, and a bike has fallen over. But since I started doing it higher on the back to prevent the back and forth side to side movement of the motorcycle, that hasn't been an issue. Those are the main things, I think. We always turn the gas off when we're transporting. If we're transporting a long distance, we like to drain the carburetor as well, just so you don't have gas sloshing around in the carburetor and a little bit of it comes out the drain tube. I think that's the main points. But getting it well secured so it won't doesn't move around and won't come loose, and you should be fine.